right, let's do it.
Hi, friends. Today we have Chris Eden. We remember last time we spoke about recovery from addictions. Today we have Chris, and we'll be talking about the effect of energy levels after consuming too much caffeine or sugar or video games, all these addictive things, casinos, anything that is addictive. We will be addressing what it does to the energy levels. Welcome once again, Chris.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you again, Krishev.
So I remember you were mentioning that when, indulging too much in caffeine, sugar, and all these things, it makes me think like uh, coffee with milk with a ton of sugar, maybe an ice cream also, which gives a lot of saturated fats ultimately becomes very addictive and it especially messes up with the mind, and then the mind starts working in a different way, and it does things that cause a loss of energy, and also the energy loss that the body takes to digest all these things. So let's continue. Let's start this conversation.
Hmm. Yeah, I've fought off a lot of addictions in my short 40 years on Earth so far. And Sugar's by far one of the hardest. Caffeine too. For about 12 years, I call them uppers and downers. I had being in the military, and then some of my other jobs, we work really long shifts. And people that are in IT or entrepreneurs, we all know the same path is we still have to get things done, whether we're have enough energy or not. And so in the morning, we're hitting the coffee pretty hard, and then maybe mid-afternoon, get another booster. Maybe it's some sort of a snack. And when you're not really paying attention or you don't have the knowledge, you're gonna grab whatever works for you on top of the caffeine. And so that may be fruit if you planned or if you just happen to be in the right place. Or that could be a Hostess or a donut or just some quick sugar fix that makes us feel momentarily as if we have more energy. And then on the back end of it, at the end of the day, we want to go to sleep. But oh, we have too much caffeine and sugar in the system, so we toss and turn. Sugar causes inflammation, so now we're even more frustrated and our body's trying to wind down. And so you take a go to sleep pill, whether it's melatonin or a prescription sleeping pill. So, how do you break that cycle?
A very dangerous cycle. So, is this a question you're asking me, or is it something you're going to share?
I think collectively, I'll share my
Okay,
perspective.
yes.
I'll say that anytime that we take something external to us that is going to be used as a tool, it's meant as a temporary tool, meaning not an everyday tool. And anytime that we turn something into an everyday tool, it then becomes a habit, a pattern, a behavior, a crutch. And if we have a crutch, eventually you're going to need more of that. So when you start with one cup of coffee, eventually that same cup of coffee is not going to do the same thing. So you're going to need two or three. And then you see there was a time when we were doing those energy drinks, which I'm glad I got off of those because a few of my friends have had heart attacks from having too much. Too much caffeine can kill you. And but we were doing one or two monsters a day, those big cans of caffeine and sugar. But yet I was still tired. I was still getting brain fog, and I wasn't able to fully function. But what do you do when you need to accomplish the task and you have to stay awake? Um, and so when I first noticed that I was needing more and more and more of that, and that my sleep was getting worse and worse, and I was having to take I think it was up to like 60 milligrams of melatonin. There's nothing really wrong per se with that much melatonin, but again, what it does is it hurts the brain because your brain will naturally produce melatonin once the sun drops and you start winding down. It does give you melatonin to help you begin the wind down. But because I was taking so much, my brain stopped producing it. Or if it did, it was so negligible that I didn't even notice. And then the caffeine, when the sun comes up, um, you're given a natural boost and your body begins to release chemicals as the sun rises. But I didn't realize this at the time. I was just trying to perform all the overabundant tasks. So coming off of it was actually quite difficult. Trying to, I think first step that I took was getting off of excess sugar. No, first was coming off of alcohol. So I took a month off of January by a bet. A friend said, I bet you can't go a month without drinking. I was like, oh, okay, well, hold my beer. I can definitely do this. So I took a month off, and then he's like, well, maybe you should try no sugar at all. And he's like, we're going to do this thing called ketosis. And I said, that sounds really weird, but I'll do it anyway. So we did it together. And when I got off of all that sugar and the caffeine, I noticed that my memory was sharper, my sleep was starting to improve, and I could hold conversations and focus quite a bit longer. And I was like, this is weird. You're telling me that if I have too much sugar and caffeine that it's going to inhibit my ability to perform. And it did. My experience was that it did. And so I really started focusing on clearing out all the excess sugar and having more natural sugar, sugars that are more aligned with how the body is, which is fruits, omega-3, things that are healthy for both the brain and the gut. Um, Now I still indulge here and there, but the journey for getting off, let's see. I switched to kombucha for a bit, which is slightly over fermented fruit juice. I don't know if you have that where you guys are at, but
Yes,
um,
yes, we
okay.
do.
Yeah, so the kombucha helped, and then I started working on breath work. Breath work is able to calm me down, regulate the nervous system. So when I'm starting to get those hankerings, I also started planning in advance. So having good snacks around the house that are readily available. Because when I'm in a rush as an entrepreneur and you have that 2-minute window to run to the bathroom and get a drink and get a piece of food, you're going to grab whatever is easiest to grab, or you're gonna go for some of the bad snacks. So eventually, I just got rid of a majority of snacks outside my house, and I promised myself, you know what? We'll go out every now and then. We'll have a nice treat. So as long as I'm not shopping when I'm really, really, really hungry, then I have a habit of buying some bad things and bring them to the house. But I really try to make sure that my house is prepared and has the proper good snacks that I'll be able to make a healthy choice. Yeah. I don't know. Did you have a similar
Here's what I
experience?
do, which is on a very similar note, especially in the breakfast. I include my fruits, the sweet fruits and the sour fruit, uh, banana, blueberry, dates, everything. So I am actually done with the sugar quota. No more sugar cravings throughout the
Yeah.
day. And yes, the body needs carbs because it needs glucose. So it is necessary. And the best time to give it, according to me, is when you are having a meal in the morning after a long gap when the body has been tired. So, that time is good to give the body sugars, natural sugar, not and by the way, dates are complex. The sugars are quite slow digesting, so they give you prolonged energy from what I've read. And when you talk about banana, when mixed with, when consumed with nuts and seeds, also gives you that prolonged energy.
Yeah.
Another thing is why people look out for sugar is because maybe they're not truly happy with their work, with their life, with their work-life balance. So the ultimate fix is to do things that make you happy, but also to have an attitude of just being happy without reasons. You know, you don't always need a reason to be happy, but whenever you do find a reason to do something that brings joy to you, do whatever brings joy. That's
Mm.
all. Keep less but quality. So these are some things that I practice, and I only talk to people that give me joy as much as I can. Of course, we have some people. So I would say the 80-20 rule, where out of 10, at least uh, eight people should bring happiness to you. Happiness, joy, knowledge, wisdom, anything. Similar to how I interact with Chris, those other two people could be people who don't necessarily add any value or something, but it's necessary, and you sometimes have to deal with one or two people like that. But then that also makes you very, very strong, and it gives you a lot of skills of how to manage yourself when you don't necessarily need the people that you like. But again, 75 to 80%, sorry, there is
Bless you.
75 to 80% of people that are in your life should contribute in a positive way. That's what I feel. That's what works. So I'm a big, big fan of the 80-20 rule. And Chris is a part of my 80% of people. And then there are some other people part of those 20%. Some people do not add any joy. Some people neither add joy, neither cause misery. It's just like, it's just simply transaction. So, to conclude, to basically summarize, is please avoid sugar, caffeine, alcohol, anything, these games and everything. But if you should, regulate it, like Chris said, treat yourself once in a while. If you feel the need, I don't even feel the need to, treat myself, because after having a donut or an ice cream, I feel the inflammation. So I don't feel relaxed. Rather, I feel burdened. I feel like, oh my God, now my body is in a stress to digest this sugar, which was not supposed to be a part. It's like my body was made for complex carbs. Let's call it petrol. And I'm putting sugar, which you can call it kerosene. The car just doesn't work. It will work with friction. And do you want your body to work with friction, Chris? And the audience, actually, this question is for the audience. No, right. So it's like every machine has a manual, but in this human machine, the manual is already set. Just listen to it. Just learn how to listen to yourself. I know some people have allergies from specific fruits, vegetables, from certain nuts also. So just basically listen to it and moderate and treat yourself only if you need to. Otherwise, just learn how to smile because smiling is free of cost. Being happy is free of cost, isn't it? So that should be the attitude. Any last thoughts by you, Chris?
Um, I like the 80-20 rule that you brought up because life is not just one way of just body, just mind. So you have the body, mind, and spirit. If you're feeding your body the wrong stuff, it's going to cause inflammation within the body, or it can cause your nervous system to slow down with the excess sugars. And that's actually what they're calling type 3 diabetes is dementia, to where you begin to slow down your cognitive function. And then in the 80-20 rule of what you said is surround yourself by the right people. If you're around 80% negative people or people that are not learning or they're stagnant, what are you going to become? Hmm. You're going to become that stagnant. You're going to become negative. No matter, how grounded you are. So think about and know who it is, the environment that you're exposed to, what you're putting into your mind, which is your environments, whether it's work or at home. And Napoleon Hill talks about this in Think and Grow Rich and the Laws of Success, which I highly recommend that book for everyone, both from a business and a personal and spiritual perspective. Um, but what you put in comes out. That's a simple equation, even though it's complex, but what you put into your mind or your body, you're going to get that output at one point or another. So continue to be aware and observe yourself, as Khrushchev says, to listen to yourself and look out for the patterns of things that are working for you, as well as patterns that are no longer serving your purpose.
Thank you very much, Chris. You're a great guest. You summarized it so well. I think you summarized it much better than I did. And it was a pleasure talking to you, a very wise person who speaks from personal experience and the theory that he has read from the books. Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.